What's up, noisemakers? Dangle back with another episode of VoiceNoise. I hope you guys are doing well. It is super hot here, and I feel like I'm glistening a little bit. Today we're going to be talking about something that I feel like doesn't get talked about enough. It's something that, it's my big pet peeve when musicians aren't nice to other musicians. Especially if you're playing with those musicians at a gig. So today we're going to be talking about not just vocal, but musician etiquette. Being a professional musician is stressful enough. No, it is not the most glamorous of professions when it comes to financial logistics, but it is something that's really, really fulfilling for a lot of people, myself included. The last thing you want to have is somebody that's a part of your band not really pulling their weight. So today we're going to talk about things to do to avoid circumstances like that. So, musicians etiquette. Let's start off with the vocalists because we got a lot of vocalists here. Let's talk about vocalists. Vocal etiquette in different scenarios can mean different things. We're going to go from the beginner circle to the professional musician or the professional vocalist and then work our way around to other instrumentalists. Vocal etiquette when it comes to being in a performance or a setting where you're in school or a choir or some sort of recital, it usually has to do with two really, really big things. First thing is be prepared. You are going to have the easiest time and the most out of your experience if you show up prepared for whatever you're going to be doing. If you're in a choir, know your part, know the line that you're singing, knowing how to blend with your other vocalists that are standing beside you. Little things like that. Just be prepared in the circumstances that you actually put yourself in. So be a little bit ethical when it comes to being in a choir. If you're in a recital setting, again, be prepared. Have your sheet music ready for your accompanist. Have your sheet music ready for your adjudicator. Know what you're going to do long before you show up and perform on stage. It is so important. You're just going to make it harder for yourself if you don't do those things to prepare. Now, being late is one of my biggest pet peeves for a performer or a musician. People are coming to see you or to experience something, or they're depending on you. Don't be late. What I like to do is I show up 15 minutes early. Okay, so be in the space, because you never know. There are things that could go wrong. There are things that you can have hiccups. You want to get those out of the way before the show even starts. So show up. Early is on time is late, and late, just don't do it. When you're getting into something like Battle of the Bands or you're in competition, being late is not an option. You will be overpassed. So try and give yourself enough time to get to where you need to go. I've been in competitions all over everywhere. And being on time, especially if you don't know where you're going, show up. It gives yourself a little bit of time to get over the jitters as well. So it's only beneficial for you. Also in competitions, don't slam other people, who are in the competition as well. There's some sort of culture that happens at competitions where support is everything. Being supportive in competitions, your nerves are already through the roof. If you're bashing another musician or musical act, it's not going to reflect too nicely on you. And at the end of the day, you're both going for the same goal. So there's nobody above or below in the context of the competition until placement's done. So why bother bashing somebody when you could easily be bashed yourself? So don't do it to others if you don't want it done to you. That leads me to actual professional musicians who are gigging. What I tend to see a lot of the time is people bashing other musicians. And I have a lot of musician friends that might watch this and know that I have a very hard time controlling my facial expressions if I'm not liking what I'm hearing. It's okay to not like what you're hearing. It's another thing to completely bash the performance itself, okay? Keep an open mind. There are people there that actually enjoy what's being performed. It's not a show that's necessarily just for you. Keep that in mind when you're going to a show or you end up at a place that happens to have live music. It's not for you. Then it's not for you. You could still enjoy your meal, enjoy your drink, leave, do whatever you have to do, but don't bash anybody. It's not cool, and it doesn't make anybody feel better. What I tend to do, because I've been an adjudicator, I've been a judge, I've been in the hot seat in the context of being a competitor and being somebody who is judging a competition. One of the things that tends to happen with me, because I actually do not have control over what my face does, if I'm liking what I'm hearing or I'm not liking what I'm hearing. And I can get into that another time, the reasons why I don't have that kind of control. But what tends to happen is I'll be confronted by a singer or a musician, and they'll say, hey, I saw you make a face when I did such and such a song. What's your deal? And I'll say, look, it's not that I'm not a fan. It's just that certain things, certain frequencies or certain intonation things that happen that I don't have control over because of A, B, and C. I won't bash them because of, we're in this together. We're a unit. We're a front. We're a united musicianship of people that love what we're doing. Why would I take that away from somebody? We need more. We need more musicians out there. We need more people who have that passion. And I'm not the person that's going to take that away. Never. What I will do is offer them advice. It's not even constructive criticism. I'll offer them advice. Most of the circles that I'm in now know that I'm a professional vocalist, and I'll get asked for advice long before I even think about offering it. It sounds like a kind of a jerk move to offer advice when it's not asked for, but if we're all in this together, it doesn't hurt to give pointers, especially to up-and-comers who aren't too familiar with the scene. So having musician etiquette also applies to helping other musicians. It's really important. I can't express enough how many times I've seen other musicians literally putting down others who are doing the same thing. They're getting paid just as much as that guy's getting paid. What's the difference? What are you proving? Who are you impressing? It makes no difference. Nobody's won anything. Nobody's lost anything. Actually, if you're going to lose anything, you might lose a friend or a fan. Now, vocalists. I want to talk to you for a second, okay? Because I've been guilty of this in the past, and I don't want you to fall into the same rut because it will lead to my previous point of people talking about you behind your back for the wrong reasons. And this comes down to vocal etiquette when it comes to you being in a band. Emphasis on the word band, okay? You guys are in this together. You are sleeping in vans. You are going to dives. You're chasing promoters down for pay. You're dealing with bad things that happen during a show. You're in this together. You're experiencing it together. The thing that drives me crazy the most is a vocalist that shows up to the gig with just a microphone and their microphone stand and their cable and do not help the rest of the musicians set up. If you're just carrying your microphone, your mic stand, and your microphone cable, you can afford the time to help your drummer out in setting up faster so that way you can do your sound check. There's this diva culture that ends up happening where, you set up what you bring or you set up what you play. Look, it's not helping anybody if you're running behind or somebody's running behind. Help. Okay, you're in a band. You're in this together. Okay? Most of the shows I do now, I bring my own sound system. So I have a lot of equipment. And my band, when they put down their stuff, they will help me too. Or vice versa. If I've brought in all of my gear and I need them to set up first in order for me to work around them, yeah, I'm going to help them out too. Now, it's okay if you don't know where everything goes. The point is you're putting in the effort, and your musician friends and band members will appreciate it. So, lift something. And if you absolutely physically can't, obviously, that's known throughout the band, this doesn't apply to you. I think the main thing to take away from this episode, I know we didn't get really into any technique. We're definitely going to dive back into technique next episode, but I wanted to get this off my chest, especially if we're going to be kind of weaving into other phases of this pandemic that's going on, and we're going to be going back to seeing live performances again. We've been stuck in our homes for months, and we are itching to get back up on stage. The last thing that anybody should be doing is bashing anybody else. Let's all get back out there. Let's all have a good time. Enjoy each other's company. Get back to competing, getting into that nature, getting back into the performances, and experiencing the beauty of music and how it can bring people together. Audience members, for those of you who aren't in music, one thing for your etiquette, don't talk over the performers. We're trying to get your attention. So don't talk over it. It's super distracting. If you have a conversation that you really need to have at that exact moment when a performer is performing, take it somewhere else. Take it further back into the room, or hop outside for a little bit. A lot of the time, if we're not scheduled to be background music, we want to be heard. So we're going to turn up a little bit, and trust me when I say that our equipment is louder than you. So the more you turn up, the more we turn up. And we don't want that kind of competition. Enjoy the show. Another thing that you can maybe think about, maybe don't walk out in the middle of a song. Wait till the end of the song to actually scoot out of the way. And it's really distracting when you see people walking in front of you or in and out of a place, and we're all trying to focus on stage on what we're doing, especially if we're playing something really intricate. We don't want squeaking doors and outside noise and people making a ruckus on their entrance. Super distracting, and it doesn't really look good on you. So if you're in that kind of setting, wait till the song's over, then hop out and do what you have to do outside, or whatever the case may be. If you really have to go to the bathroom, obviously, again, this doesn't apply to you, but if you can wait to the end of the song, bonus. That'd be really helpful. So I don't know if this episode is super helpful for anybody. I don't know if it was really necessary. A lot of it is common sense, but it surprises me sometimes that I still see it. So maybe it's not as common sense as I thought it was. Leave a comment below. Maybe tell me a story about a time that something like this has happened to you, or if you've been called out by a performer on stage because of an etiquette problem. Or just give me a story about like a bad etiquette situation, and let's talk about it. Maybe we'll have a part 2 of this later on, and I think of something else that could add to a part 2 of this. Next episode, we're going to talk about crossover singing. So if you've ever wanted to sing like this, and then go immediately to this, and then hop on over to this, then next episode is definitely for you. We're going to talk about how to switch styles, genres, and techniques within 3 minutes of a song. So come back next time. We'll talk about that. In the meantime, have yourselves a great weekend, and stay safe. Take care.